All right, everyone, and welcome to Sequencing Your Wealth, where tonight I'm going to show you how you can start to grow, protect, and increase your income, your wealth, and I'll be sharing with you so many important details to help you in that process and get started. It's something truly that I am super passionate about, and allow me to give you a little bit of introduction as to who I am. My name is Kristen Maxx. I'm the founding owner of AtHomeMoms.com, a top-ranking internet website with the primary interest and purpose of providing viable work-at-home opportunities to moms so that they can stay home with their children and truly live the life of your dreams. I've been featured on Sirius XM Radio, and I'm also a Today Show parenting contributor. And so I'm passionate about these subjects, and I really want to drive that home that, we're not born knowing this stuff. Unless you have access to someone that you know or seek out this information, really just by communicating with others and teaching yourself along the way is how you're going to gain more knowledge to make educated decisions. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into tonight's training. So hopefully those of you who pre-registered for this event, you have received the Sequencing Your Wealth downloadable packet, which will outline everything which I'll be going over with you this evening. So from the first page, we're going to start about really the most critical part of what I'll be sharing with you tonight, which is creating a plan. Because let's face it, without a plan, we're really planning to fail. And you'll have a lot of what I call wall-kicking moments when you are frustrated, feeling stuck, or confused and overwhelmed. So to prevent that, we need to set up our coordinates and figure out where we are today and where you'll be wanting to go or what your goals are for tomorrow. So within your packet, I have mapped out 8 steps that it's my vision for you is that you see this as an ongoing, continued cycle. And we'll be talking in a little bit about identifying what stage of this process you are in right now so that you can identify what I call your immediate needs, and then moving towards where you are looking to go. So starting from point A to head to point B. We'll next be taking a look at analyzing your debt. Now, I do want to spend a little bit of time talking about this before we go through all of the points because many people have different ideas about debt, about managing their debt. And really, this is a personal choice and one that if you need to speak with a financial advisor to help plan or get you out of debt, that's really the resource that you need to seek. What I'm going to be sharing with you tonight is more about leveraging potential debt so that you can grow your cash flow or income. And for some people, this is a bit scary because we are taught that we don't want debt, right? We're taught that credit card debt is bad. It's a negative thing, and usually it is. That's where a lot of people get into hang-ups or issues is when they go into what I call consumer debt. Right? That's one of my favorite examples is buying pizza on a credit card. That's not the smartest choice for managing your debt, okay? Versus taking advantage of an opportunity that's going to afford you either education, promoting yourself or your business, so for an example, marketing, starting a new business venture or potential means for creating more income. These are smarter types of debt as long as it's manageable for you and fits into your money rules, and we'll be talking about what those are in just a moment. So that's debt. We'll also be identifying your needs. So you're going to fall into a few categories you'll find yourself today. I'd say 99% of people fall into the category of needing additional cash flow, okay? So when you are running into needing more money, this is the stage that you're in. When you find yourself having enough money, then you will transition into a place where you can secure the money that you're making and protect it, as I like to call it. So that's an entity structuring and things like that. We'll go over this in more detail in just a moment. We're next going to set up your money rules. These are clear rules that you really need to stick with, and hold yourself accountable for sticking with these rules. We'll talk about those tonight. You also want to identify resources. Who in your life, in your community, in your online network, who can help guide you in this process to educate you, lift you up, support you, reinforce, maybe hold you accountable even if you know that you're the type of person that easily loses focus. And then I want to encourage you, in about 3 months, once you've set your plan, in 3 months, evaluate it. Is it working? Is it working how you thought? Have you been committed to your plan? You know, many times we set a plan, we forget about it, or we kind of do it not 100%, and no surprise then that it's not working for you, right? So evaluate it. If you have been diligent in working on your plan with consistency, I'd say effective consistency, evaluate it. If it's not working, seek out a resource to go over ideas for ways that you can change it or improve it. And then finally, where might you see opportunity for growth? You need to always be looking for opportunities to add to your, what I call your bag of benefits. So you might not need that skill, that resource now, but keep yourself open to what comes by you, and if it fits with what you're working on, what you're wanting to achieve, and within your goals and your money rules, then I would say go for it, as long as you have the time and wherewithal to be able to do it. And it'll help springboard you into other opportunities, new networks of people, and growing your wealth. Sound good? Okay, so let's get started and dive right in. On the first few pages of this downloadable, I have listed for you on the right and the left column, itemizing your income and your expenses. And this looks different depending on the person. So if you really take time, look over your financial statements from your bank, from your credit cards. This is why I think a lot of people do not take this very important step, is because it's tedious, it's boring, and it's downright painful, right? Because there's no getting around what you are seeing in fine print to really create a snapshot of what's today, where you're at today, and why this exercise is so important, to truly understand how you have gotten to this point and identify your needs. Because without having a clear plan, you're not going to reach your goals. It's just that simple. So you're outlining your income on one side, your expenses on the other, and then as you do this, you'll start to notice patterns, start to notice areas where maybe you can cut back to help creating your wealth plan. And at the very bottom, you take your total income minus your total expenses, and that is your cash flow. So if you currently have a business or multiple businesses, you will do the same exact exercise for your business. So that's the first 2 pages. That takes a little bit of time, you know, and I'm going to warn you, it's painful. But it's one of the best exercises that you can do, and I recommend taking an inventory on a regular basis so that you keep yourself in check and identify how your cash flow is increasing. Because to be honest, that's when it gets really exciting, is when you see your plan that you've put in place actually working for you. So that's the first 2 pages in the downloadable which you've received. Now that we've set our starting point, I want to take you and fast forward to where your goals are for creating your wealth plan. And this is right now going to look like a gap. It might be this big. It might be a little bit more manageable, but I do want to encourage you to make it a little bit scary. So I'm going to talk about that in a moment. So for now, I want you to set some initial goals. Think about per month, what you would like your cash flow to be. You know what it is now after doing the 2 exercises. What would you like it to be in 3 months? I can guarantee you, working with me, I can get you making $500 to $1,000 in your first month. So if that gives you an idea of what's possible, you can set your own goals for 3 months. And that's me being modest, 500 to 1,000. Next, set your 12-month goals. And then look out 5 years from now. So once you've set that goals, and I don't intend to for you to go through this now while we're discussing and walking through this. This really takes time, and I want you to search your heart, search your soul for what speaks to you and write that down. Once you have your 3-month, 12-month, and 5-year goal, add 10% to that amount. Getting a little scary, right? But it's not. It's there to push you. Because usually, and particularly as women, you're going to undervalue and undercut yourself and your worth. And I don't want that. So let's at least add 10%. You're probably worth even more than that, but minimum add 10% to those 3 numbers. In 5 years, let's fast forward 5 years. What would you like your net worth to be? So hint here again, make it a big number. It's okay if it's scary. Make it feasible. You know, you don't want to say maybe $100 billion, but make it realistic, but a little bit scary. And when you have reached your goals, how will you feel? Describe what you'll be doing, how you'll be feeling, what you'll be able to contribute. Put all of those words and emotions, feelings in this space. It feels really good, and it's something that when you do come up against a wall and you're feeling frustrated, that these are good things to remind yourself of on a regular basis, because there's a lot of goodness in you, and you just need to let your light shine and showcase what you have to offer this world. And if you're struggling doing that, then I encourage you to take part in my Use Your Skills series to identify the skill sets that you have today to start making you money tomorrow, really as soon as this week. It happens that quickly. And then finally on this page, what will you enjoy more of once you've reached these goals? What will you be able to do? Will it free up more time for you to spend with your family? One of my goals that I always have on everything is to be able to travel, because I absolutely love to travel to new places and experience different cultures and different foods and music and shopping. And I want to expose my son to all of that. And so for me, one of my goals is always the freedom to be able to travel. So if that gives you one idea of something to put down once your goals are reached, you can write all of those in the space provided. So this really is a thinking exercise. You know, a lot of creating a plan is setting the right foundation, getting in the correct mindset so that you can be successful and successfully execute the plan that you've put in place. And it needs to come from here, from your heart. Okay, we're getting another icky, sticky part out of the way and talking about debt. Okay, so you're looking at your credit cards and those statements. And for those of you just joining us, we're on the debt snapshot page on your downloadable. And so you'll be writing in your debt name or the debt type, okay, listing those. Listing the total amount that you owe or that's due. In the following column, the minimum payment per month. Okay, understanding the minimum payment, the available funds that you have still left. Even if it's $4, write it down. Okay, if you're almost maxed out, whatever that amount is, the funds that you still have available on that credit line, write down. And then in the final column on the right, you'll work through, it won't be an immediate thing as you're working through your list, but there will be time available to write out your payment plan for paying off your debt. And this is part of, this will go into your money rules, which we'll be talking about in a moment, but it's designed to hold you accountable again and start working down, paying down your consumer debt, And then if you incur any business debt or investment debt towards making more income, which I say is okay debt, as long as it's manageable and fits within your money rules, it's okay to take on that debt. Debt to buy a pair of shoes that you're really wanting at the moment but don't have the cash for, not so smart. That's consumer debt. So I really want to drive home the difference, because I talk to many moms that will say, gosh, I don't have the money to be able to do that program or to invest in this network marketing company startup plan. And we're talking a couple $100s. Usually there is at least one credit card that has room for that. And this is a money-making potential for you. This is an investment in yourself that you'll be getting a return on. So it's different than a one-time purchase at a restaurant or at the mall for buying things. That's consumer debt. So I really want to make sure that point is crystal clear. And as I go through today's presentation, if you have any questions, please write them in the chat box at the side of the screen, and I'll be happy to answer them live for you. I also wanted to share with you, as you're working through your debts, identify your total debt amount. And this is a little bit scary. Like I warned you in the beginning, we don't like to look at these numbers and the damage that we've done, so to speak. But again, you need to understand where you're starting from so that you have a clear idea of what your needs are, your immediate needs starting today, to be able to create your plan for the future and grow. So at the bottom of the page, these exercises, again, are not intended for you to do live with me here, but I'm walking you through things to think about and how this workbook works for creating and sequencing your wealth plan. You also, once you've identified how much debt you owe, you also want to identify how much available funds you have. So this should start to make you feel a little better, hopefully, to identify what you have available to you so that you know what you can take advantage of to create more cash flow if that's what you need, to protect your business or keep more money for taxes if you're in the more protecting your wealth stage, to be able to take advantage of passive sources of income that come by you. Cash flow is king. I'm sure you've heard this saying before, and it is so true. Because when an opportunity comes your way, if you have the cash to be able to participate in that money-making opportunity, you can jump right in, right? If you don't have the cash, passes you by, and you might be filled with regret, like, oh, I wish I had been able to jump on that opportunity because I would have been a lot further along in my process. So cash is king. You really need to set the boundaries when you're thinking through how you're going to pay down the consumer debt you've incurred. This could be business debt as well. And so if you find yourself in a lot of business debt, identify ways that you can increase cash flow so that you can pay off your business debts too. You need to make it manageable, okay, and create a plan for how much you can allocate towards paying down that debt so that it frees up your available funds again to be able to have funds ready to jump on more opportunities and build more wealth. Now, before we go on, I do want to share with you that this is a very different conversation about money and about wealth building than maybe you have heard. But I promise you that anyone who is building wealth with consistency over time and has been successful, they are doing exactly these principles all the time. And so if you have any questions, once I'm finished with this presentation, we will have the opportunity to speak live on the phone one-on-one, and I'll be offering that to you at the end of this presentation and how you can schedule a time with me so that we can chat and figure out your identified plan for success. So let's go on to the following page. And again, for those of you who have joined us, if you did not yet receive the downloadable, check your email, and I will also be sharing that with you after this broadcast so that you can go in and download this form to help you out. So now, based on everything that you've outlined, you've identified what your cash flow is, where you want to be in 3 months, 12 months, and 5 years from now. And then you've identified your debt and any potential funds that you might have still available. Okay, so we've accomplished a lot. And this is really setting up the foundation to now allow you to take action. So you're going to find yourself in one of 4 categories. There most likely will be overlap in this, but most people, I would say 99%, I guarantee it, are going to find themselves in the needing cash flow category. So you need to identify ways to increase your base income. If you don't have base income yet coming in on a regular basis, then you really need to take a good hard look at building that cash flow. That's most important. Priority number 1. If you're comfortable with your cash flow, you may fall into the following one of 3 categories. You might need to be protecting your assets or your business. So this would mean maybe entity structuring, entering into or creating an LLC or corporation so that you get to keep more of the money that you're making. You're protecting your wealth. It might be taking different resources that you learn from, say, a lawyer who you identify, or if you don't have a lawyer, I strongly encourage you finding someone that you know and trust to help set this up so that you are not only financially protected, but also that you personally are protected. So I don't want to scare you by saying this, but you really want to make sure that your money is protected, and that if someone were to try and come after you for reasons, say suing your business, for example, that you personally, you and your family are protected. And the money that you make is protected, your home's protected. And there are a lot of ways to do that. People who don't know just what they don't know can be held quite liable and open themselves up to potential risks if they are not properly structuring their businesses and their entities and protecting themselves and their wealth. So that's the second column. You may also fall under the category of needing to create your wealth building team. So what do I mean by that? That could be hiring a mentor, hiring someone who's your bookkeeper, hiring a good accountant, a good attorney, just having someone that you have on hand in case a situation arrives. You need to create what I call the network before you need it. Okay, so seeking out those resources are really going to help you in the long run, particularly if you find yourself in need of something right away. You don't have to spend the time seeking out these experts. You already have them at your disposal and you have an established relationship. So you may be in the wealth building team. You might even, as a part of your wealth building team, need to partner with someone. Maybe someone else has a similar expertise as yourself and can help you grow that much faster by partnering with them or joint venturing with them in the process. And then you may find yourself looking for investment opportunities. If cash flow is good, you have your entity structuring set up, you have a wealth team in place, then you're ready to look for other opportunities. And these are larger opportunities. These are not your just base cash flow. This is increasing and ramping up your cash flow. Typically, these are passive, completely passive sources of income. And there are many ways to do that with little to no investment or time, but you need to have the cash on hand. So unless you have the cash on hand, you really need to focus on then getting the cash flow so that you can jump in and take advantage of these opportunities when they come your way. So now that you've identified what area of your wealth you're needing to focus on, it makes it a lot more clear to then set up your money rules. So you're going to put into action your debt elimination plan. So how much are you allocating each month towards paying down your consumer debt? That should be a priority, even if it's only a little bit. Whatever you can commit to it now and stick with the plan. Really set clear boundaries for what you will personally invest in or add debt to you personally or to your business in terms of operating expenses, education, mentorship programs. A lot of times, particularly if someone is an entrepreneur, they get sidetracked easily by the flashing lights of all these big promises and, oh, you take my course or you do this or you do that, and you're going to really ramp up your business. And they're not sticking to their foundational rules and to their business plan that they've set in place. They get sidetracked, lose focus, and then they stall, right? So in creating your money rules, if you are a person who gets easily sidetracked or distracted, notice that and identify it in yourself, and then work towards changing it. It's completely okay and normal to have felt that way from time to time, but identify if this is you and a weak spot for you to get tempted to try the latest, greatest thing. And double check it before you say yes and move forward with a new venture or new program that you want to take if it fits in your money rules. You also want to allocate a certain amount each month that you're earning towards just a wealth building account. So it could be something very small. Some people call it a rainy day account. You want some place where you're driving money so that you have it for when you need it. So it's another way to build up extra cash on hand to be able to do things that you want to jump on or take advantage of. This is very important. So create a wealth account. You also need to really know yourself best. And if you need to, find an accountability partner, find an online group, find a mentor, find a coach, find somebody who's going to keep you accountable, maybe it's your spouse, to this plan. Because you need to set the foundation in order to springboard towards results. And then just stick with it. Once you set it, don't look at it, don't consider changing it for at least 3 months. Give yourself 3 months working on it diligently and see how far you've come. Then take a moment to evaluate. So I promised you that I would be giving you the opportunity to schedule a time with me so that we can talk one-on-one. And you'll be receiving this through email if you registered for this live event. If you want the web address to schedule a time with me, you will find that at www.AtHomeMoms.com/schedule. And from there, you'll be able to set up a time with me so that you and I can speak one-on-one. I ask that before you set up a time to complete these exercises that we've gone over today so that we can just hit the ground running together and put together your wealth building plan. So now we've sequenced today. Now get ready for growth. And then also, you do have the opportunity, if you have not already received it, my quick start guide for making money from home. And you can download that at AtHomeMoms.com. There is a link in the printed downloadable, which I sent out prior to this broadcast. And I just wanted to thank you so much for taking action to learn more about how you can build, protect, and create more income, more wealth, free up more time so that you can enjoy life and enjoy those precious moments with your children. That's a large part of why I do what I do, why I'm so passionate about helping others to achieve their goals. And I genuinely look forward to speaking with you one-on-one during our phone call session. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. And until next time, bye-bye.